We're not right this minute, but she will be coming.
Okay.
So maybe put some here too. Okay. And then we also have these.
Who else is reserved?
Well, survivors, families, candlelighters. So maybe put a section right there, and then we'll put these in a second.
It's going to be a long evening.
Yep.
We always used to participate in the saying of the names.
Mm.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay,
I'll
sorry.
take care of it.
They're on the floor over here. Okay. Assuming I remember, let's do a test run.
Luckily, as far as I know, none of my immediate relatives were in Europe at the time. One of my relatives that I know were in Europe in the 40s.
Yeah,
So we're all here, as far as I know.
on my side, on my mother's side, both her parents. On my father's side, father and a brother.
Oh, wow. My mother's side came in the early, her parents came in the early part of the century, like the 1918 or something like that.
Well,
My father's family came around the same, after the Russian Revolution.
Sorry, do you need help with the lights?
no, Barbara wasn't as fortunate. Her father lost all his immediate family, parents and siblings.
Mm.
Same thing with my
Yeah,
mother.
and the mother
Except
lost
for one.
parents and siblings
I
except
think
for one
some of,
brother.
I think some of us
Wow.
may want them, but if it's in your way, we can do without them. I know I will not use one, and some of us will use one. But if it's easier for you not to have them, we can get rid of them.
My father and his mother and his sisters, one of his sisters and a brother were stuck in England because they weren't allowed to get into this country. They had to wait a couple of years in England before they came.
My parents tried for 6 years, 5 years after the war to get a visa from Germany. They went from Poland to Germany,
Where do you want the lights to go?
which is a whole story in itself.
Yeah.
But, I was born in Germany, but the intent was always to go to the United States, and it took 5 years. So I was 5 years old. 5 years. I was 5 years old when I came to
Came
the
in just
United
before the
States.
6th.
Yeah. Because it was crazy, and
They didn't give, they were very, this country, unfortunately, at that time, was more like, wouldn't give Jews the visas.
it was well, it's
Yeah,
a lot of refugees. There were
Yeah.
a lot, and so my parents went from
Reminder, after services, Zoom will close, and all those who want to attend the Yom Hashoah commemoration may do so on the Emmanuel Synagogue Zoom.
The Vimeo.
Yeah.
And if you need that link, it should be both in your email and on the website. And with that, thank you, Jerry, for that announcement. We are going to begin Mincha. Mincha begins on page 120. אשרי יושבי ביתך הודלו חסלה, אשריהם שככה לו, אשריהם שאדוני אלוהיו, תהילה לדוד ארמים חיים. גדול אדוני. סומך פותח את ידיך מסביר כל חרצון, צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו. תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah. Please rise as you are able for Chatzi Kaddish, which will be immediately followed by the Amidah on page 122b. Now on 121. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קראתי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיים איתים, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיים איתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ כבודו, לאומתם ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור ימלוך אדוני לעולם מלך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue privately, page 124 in the weekday Siddur. You may be seated when you have completed your personal prayer. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. קדיש שלם, page 134. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קריתי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלתנו ותום דכל ישראל קודם עוון דבשמיא, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. Please rise as you are able. עלינו, page 135. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שנותן שמיים ויסד הארץ ומשפיע. כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We continue with Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, on page 136. You may be seated. We offer our condolences to the family of Shirley Hyde and Marjorie Kagan Solomon on their passing. During Shloshim, we remember Mitchell Colin, Trudy Pomerantz, Merle Clymer-Cohen, Mildred Sohn Green. On their yard sites, the 23rd of Nisan, we remember Fern Edelstein, Claire Bergen, Morris J. Braindle, Murray Braindle, Senta Brown, William Cooper, Yetta Glider, Mark Gottlieb, Max Jaffe, Louis Kossoff, Edith H. Schwab. Are there any other names to add? Those in mourning or observing a yard site, I invite you to rise as you are able. Page 136. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קידותי ואמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. And as we transition to our evening service, our Marev, I'll share with you a melody I recently learned that you will hear again this evening if you choose to stay for the program. Sing still, gor still, as keine Chutz und soll nicht hören, und soll uns verwegen, der hat sie genegen, bis ein Rämlen wellen die Stern. Sing still, gor still, as keine Chutz und soll nicht hören, und soll uns verwegen, der hat sie genegen, bis ein Rämlen wellen die Stern. Sing still. Please rise as you are able. Maariv begins on page 137. והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה להשיב אפו ולא יאיר קור חמתו. אדוני הושיע המלך יעננו ויום קורנו. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך את אדוני יומך לעם אשר ביברמה ביברמה. ביום ועד לגלל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור, מעביר יום ומביא לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המריב הרבים, אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך, אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת. כן אדוני כי אם חיינו ואורך ימינו נגע יומם ולילה, ואבטח אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 138. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. והיין שמעו תשמעו. We continue privately on page 138 and 139. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת ואמונה כל זה וקיים. at the bottom of page 139. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עוצף אלה מלכותך ובניך בוקע יום לפני משה זה הלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל. Page 140. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקנן בעצה טובה מלפניך והשיינו למען שמך והגן בעדנו וזמך. כי אל מלכנו וברחום אתה ושמור צאתנו בינו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני שומר עמו ישראל לעד ברוך אדוני לעולם אמן ואמן ברוך אדוני מציון שוכן ירושלים הללויה ברוך אדוני. הושיענו אדוני אלוהינו וקבצנו ויוציאנו מן הגויים להודות לשם קודשך לשתות. כי גדול אתה ועושה נפלאות אתה אלוהים לבדך תהילתך ברוך אדוני ביום ברוך אדוני בלילה ברוך אדוני בשכבנו ברוך אדוני בקומנו. כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי תמלוך בכבוד כי אין לנו מלך אלא אתה ברוך אתה אדוני המלך בכבודו תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ועל כל מעשיו. Please rise as you are able. We continue on page 141 and then directly into the private Amidah on page 142b. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה ועל מה דברה קירתי ועל מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם על בני עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה אדוני אלוהינו. Kedish Shalem, page 149. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קריתי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון וחי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותן ובתן דכל ישראל קודם עוון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Please rise as you are able. עלינו page 150. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שנוטה שמיים ויוצד הארץ מה שקרה. באמת. כן נקרא לך כי המלכות שלך יולמי תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We turn now to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 151. And we offer our condolences to the families of Shirley Hyde and Marjorie Kagan Solomon on their passing. During Shloshim, we remember Mitchell Colin, Trudy Pomerantz, Merle Clymer Cohen, and Mildred Sohn Green. On their yahrzeits, the 24th of Nisan, we remember Eve Corwin, Benjamin Goldstein, Rebecca Melman Gordon, Helen Isaacson, Edward M. Levine, Aaron Luton, Jeremy S. Nisselbaum, Raymond Port, Dorothy Schuchalter, Benjamin Tollett, Saul M. Wennick, and Harold Wolk. Are there any other names to add? Those in mourning or in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, please rise as you are able. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. Our service comes to a close with Psalm 121 on page 251, a song of ascent. I lift up my eyes to the hills. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let you stumble. Your guardian will not slumber. Indeed, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian, your shelter at your side. The sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you against all evil. God will guard you body and soul. Adonai will guard your going out and your coming home now and forever. Adonai yishmor tzedcha v'oecha me'ata ve'ad olam. We rise as a community for a final Kaddish Yatom, a mourner's Kaddish, for all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Page 151. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kiruteh ve'amlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. That concludes our Mariv service. We hope you will join us via live stream. They can stay on Zoom if they like, because we are going to use the monitors, I am told. So you can stay on Zoom, or if you prefer, you can go to Vimeo. The link is on the Emmanuel website, and I imagine in your emails. And with that, I will bid you adieu for now, and we'll have a momentary pause until the program begins with a reading of names.
Sure, go ahead, Panther.
Thank you.
Is it too early to count the Omer?
Oh, I did not count the Omer. Some actually say it is too early, so let us count the Omer without the bracha. What was yesterday? Yesterday was day 7, right?
8.
Yesterday was
8.
day 8. That makes sense, because Friday was day 7. So that means that yesterday was day 8. And the counting of the Omer is on page. If anybody knows, you can help me. Otherwise, I'll check it in 152. 152. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer hayom tisha yamim shehem shavua echad u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is 9 days, a week, and 2 days of the Omer. And I know I said I would do that without the bracha, but the habits are hard to break. So, thank you for that reminder. I encourage you, if you would like to count the Omer later, you've got plenty of time in a couple hours, and you can do it again in the morning without the bracha, if you remember.
Thank you, cousin.
Whoever reminded me, I can't see your face, but I thank you.
So,
Hillel said we do, and Shammai said we don't.
Test. Ooh, these levels are low.
This will not mess with you if I unplug this, right?
It should have no effect. Sabrina, are you using a stand? No, right? Do you know if Stephanie's using a stand? Okay. Do you want us to make a stop? I didn't hear you. Where do you want us to sit? Somewhere where you can be up and down easily. And make sure you have a program. That's really all that matters. I have something for you.
6:00 p.m.
Let me talk to Alan, and then I can be a brain with you. What did I just? Okay, here it is.
Welcome to the reading of the names. Please refrain from unnecessary noise during the reading. Thank you. Abraham, Abraham. Arthur, Abraham. Leo, Abramowitz. Sarah, Abramowitz. Abraham, Adamski. Devorah, Adamski. Fredel, Adamski. Gisela, Adamski. Motel, Adamski. Abraham, Alster. Fanny, Alster. Felix, Alster. Joseph, Alster. Bruno, Altman. Herman, Altman. Suzanne Charlotte Altman. Paula Arbeiser. Sam Arbeiser. Julius Aaron. Tony Aaron. Alina Bacall. Leo Bacall. Paul Backer. Carolyn Lowenberg Bear. Gertrude Bear. Hedwig Bear. Inga Bear. Julius Bear. Margot Bear. Alexander Below. Bertha Below. Joseph Below. Bino Yitzchak Dov Bomberger. Jonas Moshe Bomberger. Michael Barish Polsky. Naum Barish Polsky. Esther Becker. Herschel Becker. Libby Becker. Naftali Becker. Bessie Lovitz Belzer. Justine Bendine. Zeev Ben Dov. Brachel Binakonsky. Perret Bonakonsky. Betty Berolowitich. Deborah Berolowitich. Haya Berolowitich. Hirsch Berolowitich. Menachem Berolowitich. Shmuel Berlotowitich. Isidore Berger. Ethel Bergenbaum. Schneer Bergenbaum. Leon Berkowitz. Moshe Berkowitz. Rachel Berkowitz. Esther Berlin. Pezzi Berlin. Joshua Berlin. Moses Berliner. Rena Berliner. Lena Bernheimer. Israel Beinstock. Lushek Beinstock. Sarah Beinstock. David Bilwa. Maria Bilwa. Paul Bilwa. Aaron Bach. Edward Bach. Emmanuel Bach. Aaronstein Bach. Arena Bach. Irene Bach. Irving Bach. Judah Bach. Julius Bach. Lejos Bach. Yaakov Bach. Zygmunt Bach. Frieda Bodenheimer. Matthias Borsak. Abraham Braverman. Felix Bronner. Bertha Brown. Max Brown. Faggy Chai. Adele Comides. Bella Comides. Benjamin Comides. Favish Comides. Frida Roth Comides. Gertrude Comides. Isaac Comides. Isaac Comides. Judah Schiff Comides. Leah Comides. Mechel Comides. Malek Comides. Miriam Luft Comides. Mondazio Comides. Mundek Comides. Rabbi Kalman Comides. Rachel Leah Comides. Salka Comides. Sarah Comides. Shandel Comides. Shulam Comides. Tema Comides. Zipporah Bettersfield Comides. Yankel Comides. Razel Comides and her husband. David Chase. Burl Chodesh. Cherna Chodash. Saul Chodash. Zalman Chodash. Israel Komsky, Toba Cohn and family, Fanny Cukier, Henry Cukier, Jacques Cukier, Mayer Cukier, Cecilia David, Herman David, Leah David, Shia David, Tazina David, Zvi Hirsch David, Yehuda David, Arge Danes, Boyana DeMayo, Yaakov DeMayo, Samuelo DeMayo, Solomon DeMayo, Tuvi DeMayo, Aaron Dembaska, Chaya Dembaska, Mayer Dembaska, Ruchel Dembaska, Usher Dembaska, Yankel Dembaska, Bundi Danis, George Danis, Isidore Danis, Matilda Danis, Pishta Danis, Bernhard Drucker, Devora DeBowie, Dove Bear DeBowie, Kopel DeBowie, Berka Edelman and family, Anna Ehrenfeld. Jacob Ehrenfreund, Jeanette Ehrenfreund, Rachel Ehrenkrantz, Wilhelm Ehrenkrantz, Jack Eisler, Lily Eisler, Hilda Andrich and family, Leon Fagenbaum, Regina Fagenbaum, Harry Federbush, the Fagora family, Joseph Fleischer, Freund Fliegel, Ignat Fliegel, Jean Fliegel, Elizabeth Fodor, Frederick Fodor, Goldie Frankus, Solomon Frankus, Aranka Frankel, Hashi Frankel, Margaret Frankel. Fanny Friedman, Herman Friedman, Olga Friedman, Benjamin Frisch, Eugene Frisch, Irene Frisch, Jacob Frisch, Regina Frisch, Avram Zabel Friedenberg, Bernie Friedenberg, Bluma Friedenberg, Frondel Friedenberg, Miriam Furman, Villa Gluck, Ariel Zelig Goldberg, David Goldberg, Herschel Goldberg, Joseph Goldberg, Liebeck Goldberg, Moishe Goldberg, Marion Golden, Zachary Golden, Ruth Goldschmidt, Gina Goldshare, Fagi Goldstein, Fagel Goldstein, Gerson Shmuel Goldstein, Hannah Jakobowitz Goldstein, Sam Goldstein, Shulam Goldstein, Hannah Goldwasser, Esther Goldwasser, Marie Goldwasser, Ricola Pedra Goldwasser Lemhout, Esther Golan Shishkak, Gadila Golan Shishkak, Marie Leah Golan Shishkak, Elka Goodman, Chava Gottfried, Itzhak Gottfried, Mary Gottfried, Kathinka Gottschalk Sonnenberg, Boris Gradinger, Herman Grunbaum.
Selma Grunbaum, Helene Grunbaum Hahn, Bob Bumek, Bronya, no last name, Grunschlag, Gedale Grunschlag, Kopel Grunschlag, Peppa Grunschlag, Lucia Grunschlag Sachs, Ada Grunschlag Gingold, Max Gunter, Mina Gunter Gutmann, Caroline Gunter Rosenfeld, Brana Gertman, Hannah Gertman, Gisela Gertman, Henry Gertman, Mark Gertman, Nacha Gertman, Rose Gutwell, Israel Halpern, Leah Halpern, Mendel Halpern, Eva Heller, Janinka Heller, Vilda Heller, Lily Hertz, Lola Hertz, Leah Cyril Hertz, Yitzhak Meir Hirsch, Caroline Hexter, Irene Hoppenheim, B. Israel, Bertha Israel, Jacob Israel, Kurt Israel, Herschel Jachimovich, Nachman Jachimovich, Esterka Jachimovich, Fred Jacobs, Regina Jacobs, Feige Yaffe, Frummel Yaffe, Moishe Yaffe, Motel Yaffe, Rochela Yaffe, Elimelech Jakubovich, Rachel Jakubovich, Avram Jakubovitz, Frimit Jakubovitz, Gershon Jakubovitz, Hannah Jakubovitz, Leah Jakubowitz, Noah Jakubowitz, Zipporah Jakubowitz, Wolf Jakubowitz, Yussel Jakubowitz, Toba Jakubowitz Cordonor, Margot Jeremias, Yitka Kachka, Moshe Mendel Kachka, Blima Rivka Kachka, Yitka Kachka, Rushka Kachka Koslowski, Avremel Kaganovich, Basha Kaganovich, Burl Kaganovich, Dora Kaganovich, Fanya Kaganovich, Isser Kaganovich, Luba Kaganovich, Manya Kaganovich, Moshe Kaganovich, Moshe Lieb Kaganovich, Motel Kaganovich, Rose Kaganovich, Sorrel Kaganovich, Yussel Kaganovich, Emma Rivka Kampf, Nissen Kampf, Saul Kaplowitz, Benjamin Karl, Elias Karl, Mala Karl, Rivka Kamaides Karl, Marita Karp, Celia Zimmer Cassow, Jacob Cassow, the Katz family, Adele Kaufman, Irma Kaufman, Max Kaufman, Aaron Kazmarek, Abraham Kazmarek, Franya Kazmarek, Hans Kazmarek, Jacob Kazmarek, Rivka Kazmarek, Sarah Kazmarek, Simon Kazmarek, Wolf Kazmarek, Strolek Kent, Esther Jacobson Konigshofer, Helene Torlowski Konigshofer, Jacob Lieb Konigshofer, Joseph Heinemann Konigshofer, Naftali Wolf Konigshofer, Edith Keenis, Leah Keenis, Gidon, I believe it's Kines, sorry, Harry Kines, Natan Kines, Yaakov Kines, Svi Kines, Leah Kines Newman, Esterka Kines Jakimovich, Yitzhak Klebanov, Leon Klein, Stella Klein, Floria Konigshofer, Hannah Konigshofer Altman, Merle Konigshofer Bamberger, Leas Konigsberg, Moshe Konigsberg, Simon Conover, Anya Kopman, Balcha Kopman, Ginda Pearl Kopman, Hannah Kopman, Hella Kopman, Helen Kopman, Joseph Kopman, Maurice Kopman, Mordechai Kopman, Moshe Kopman, Rivka Kopman, Hannah Lustig Koppel, Bella Korduner, Devora Korduner, Feige Korduner, Fabel Korduner, Itzhak Korduner, Moshe Korduner, Peter Korduner, Peter Hupa Korduner, Rathel Korduner, Saul Korduner, Sura Korduner, Sylvia Hupa Korduner, Sylvia Korduner, Toby Jakubovich Korduner, Wolf Korduner, Joseph Korzanik, the Kosak family, Akiva Counter, Aram Counter, Ella Counter, Zelda Counter, Benik Kozlowski, Hannah Kozlowski, Rushka Kozlowski, Benjamin Krieger, Bronkia Krieger, Kiel Krieger, Moses Krieger, Motel Krieger, Rosa Christeller, Michael Kroll, Sophie Kroll, Naftali Kuflik, Rosa Reisel Kurz, Sonia Kurzberg, Pearl Kurzberg, Abraham Kurzberg, Henya Kurzberg, Joseph Kurzberg, Aaron Kurzberg, Esther Kurzberg, Lata Lachenbach, Oscar Lachenbach, Isaac Lamhout, Abraham Langer, Alter Langer, Ephraim Langer, Ethel Langer, Ida Langer, Isaac Langer, Kopal Langer, Meyer Langer, Moses Langer, Pinchas Langer, Regina Langer, Zelman Langer, Aaron Lazowski, Abraham Lazowski, Chaya Gittel Lazowski, Joseph Lazowski, Rachel Lazowski, Lee Lederer, Abraham Letterman, Esther Letterman, Miriam Letterman, Renya Letterman, Manya Leifer, Yortam family, Lydia Ella Levenberg, Raleigh Levenberg, Yitzhak Meyer Levenberg, Helene Levi, Herman Levi, Julius Levi, Meyer Levi, Bertel Levy Buxbaum, Ida Levy, Dan Machold Liesel, Judy Liesel, Wolfgang Liesel, Lova Lifshitz, Masha Lifshitz, Abraham Lippener.
Thanks. Sarah Lippener, Clara Loeb, Russell Loeb, Julia Lorraine, Margaret Lorenick, Leopold Lube, Berthold Lowenstein, Martha Lowenstein, Greta Lowenstein Meyer, Kasia Lo Gashuk, Joseph Lorzenik, Asfer Labarsha Jamyat, Nose Lombarskaya, Rivka Lombarskaya, Bernard Lubka, Felix Lubka, Regina Lubka, Samuel Lubka, Abrasha Ludvinovsky, Miriam Ludwinovsky, Anna Lothglass, Elias Lothglass, Henry Lufglas, Roman Lufglas, Malvin Mayulik, Sabine Mayulik, Giandel Malovany, Gittel Malovany, Herschel Malovany, Philip Malovany, Rikva Malovany, Vival Malovany, Chaya Manella, Joseph Manella, Miriam Manella, Mordechai Manella, Luis Mann, Victor Mann, Baila Margolin, Paul Matazovsky, Aaron Majorowitz, Rose Majorowitz, Jacob Meyer, Rosa Meir, Jacob Meir, Hannah Meyer, David Marin, Arthur Mitlak, Bira Mitlak, Dina Mitlak, Rachel Mitlak, Yosef Mederkamen and family, Chanka Monshine, Yurik Monshine, Montak family, Abram Morginsky, Ephraim Morginsky, Shlomo Morginsky, Shlope Moskowitz, Herman Friedman Mauthausen, Emmanuel Nataskin, Fanya Nataskina, Manya Nataskina, Mimi Bamemshik, Sarala Bamemshik, Israel Nemenshik and grandmother, Irving Newman, Lana Newman, Lisa Newman, Anna Heyman Odenheimer, Adel Oskenhandler, Akiva Oskenhandler, Hila Oskenhandler, Herschel Oskenhandler, Jadzia Oskenhandler, Jacob Oskenhandler, Shlomo Oskenhandler, Yechitl Oskenhandler, Yaakov Olech, Edwin Osborne, Yankel Paris, Leah Paris Klebanoff, Ralph Parker, Abram Paker, Gidel Peker, Hannah Peker, Isaac Peker, Moisey Peker, Rivka Peker, Hyman Peru, Mark Pinkowski, Beryl Pinsker, Chaya Pinsker, Esther Pinsker, Regina Pinsker, Alfred Pisk, Hilda Pisk, Abisa Pola, Abe Poliska, Libby Poliska, Sholem Poliska, Edna Post, Florence Post, Carla Rivka Purcell, Hirsch Lieb Purcell, Eids Lidl Prokopets, Eli Prujan, Malka Prujan, Masayenta Prujan, Meyer Prujan, Yachagita Prujan, Miriam Rabinowitz, Morris Rabinowitz, George Rat, Joseph Rafalowitz, Misha Rajumni, Leon Reef, Dina Reisman, Yaakov Reisman, Abba Reisman and family, Chaim Reisman and family, Moishe Reisman and family, Nachamiah Reisman and family, Natan Reisman and family, Shmuel Reisman and family, Hilda Bieber Odenheimer Rice, Ben Rogazinski, Iger Rose, Sally Rose, Chanina Rosenblatt, Chaya Sura Rosenblatt, Helena Rosenfeld, Simon Rosenfeld, Haskell Rosner, Chuna Rashpicha, Frida Rashpucha, Golda Rashpucha, Leah Rashpicha, Liba Rashpucha, Moishi Rashpucha, Sarah Rashpucha, Sura Rashpucha, Rita Choya Ross, Edzia Reisenberg, Miroslav Reisenberg, Jacob Rube, Baruch Rube and family, Fruma Rube and husband and 2 sons, Galia Rubin, Anaya Rubinsky, Dora Rubinsky, Joseph Rubinsky, Mana Rubinsky, Pinchas Rubinsky, Yentl Rubinsky. There you go.
Elisa Sachs, Kurt Sachs, Ben Sakier, Luba Sakier, Herschel Sandrovich, Pepkin Shablin, Avram Sharashevsky, Menash Shanuk, Sarah Shinuk, Menash Shinuk, Regina Shinuk, Salah Shinuk, Moses Schiff, Hannah Shmuel, Emma Schoen, Marina Schoen, Rosa Schoen, Sarah Schoen, Clara Schoenthal, Finia Schoenthal, Shmuel Schoenthal, Liba Shore, Ludmila Shore, Milka Grunschlag Shore, Moshe Shore, Falik Shore, Israel Schreiber, Saul Schreiber, Adele Schulz, Judith Schulz, Leah Schulz, Moshe Schulz, Nathan Schulz, Pinchas Schulz, Lor Schwartz, David Schwartzberg, Sarah Schwartzberg, Judith Semmel Roth, the Safran family, George Shanefarber, Jacob Shanefarber, Leah Shanefarber, Sarah Shanefarber, Shandel Shanefarber, Efron Sharansky, Reza Schenkman, Herman Shepard, Avram Schreibman, Nachum Schreibman, Rachel Schreibman, Betty Shook, Morris Shook, Celia Zilberman, Israel Zilberman, Joseph Zilberman, Leo Zilberman, Mendel Zilberman, Moses Zilberman, Salah Zilberman, Simon Zilberman, Varesla Silberman, Henny Simon, Lena Simon, Aaron Singer, Gitlia Singer, Yidel Singer, Nisi Singer, Pinchas Singer, David Solomon, Max Sonnenberg, Anne Margaret Sperber, Avram Sperber, Ephraim Sperber, Lislauda Sperber, Malta Sperber, Mayor Sperber, Flora Irons Spear, Flora Neleons Spear, Franz Robers Spear, Louis Spear, Agnes Spitzer, Rachel Spitzer, David Springer, Henry Springer, Irene Springer, Jacob Springer, Jonas Springer, Saul Springer, Bella Stachelberg, Benjamin Stachelberg, Dora Stachelberg, Isaac Stachelberg, Ida Stachelberg Langer, Mordechai Stachelberg, Hans Stargarter, Pincus David Stein, Alex Stern, Edmund Stern, Joseph Korzenik Strasfeld, Lola Swede, Azriel Zoag, Chava Zoag, Rebecca Soag, Batya Soag Koner, Fruma Chernuskis, Gustav Thurman, Kurt Feldman, Theodore Feldman, Warner Feldman, Walter Tobias, Zir Tobowitz, and wife and 2 daughters, Zana Saitlin, Marcel Mir Cherchovitz, Yitzhak Tzemach, Matos Tzemach and family, Ehiel Zerulnik, Mary Zerulnik, Hannah Bachutznia, Bernard Bachutznia, Bachutzki, David Bachutzniski, Leon Bachutzniski, Chaya Valensky, Nechama Valensky, Sarah Valensky, Shimon Valensky, Devorah Vogelman, Avraham Volkas, Basya Volkas, Bernard Volkas, Jacob Volkas, Miriam Volkas, Moshe Volkas.
Rivka Volkas, Moses Weinberg, Hannah Rachel Weinberg and her family, Abby Weiner, Avraham Weingold, Gerda Weingold, Rosa Weingold, Magda Weiss, Fareda Wellner, Joseph Wellner, Max Wishnia, Cherna Wishnia, Basia Wittenberg, Benjamin Wittenberg, Herman Wolf, Ida Wolf, Joseph Wolf, Marianne Konigshofer Wolf, Henry Yankovitz, Harry Zamstein, Helen Zamstein, Zauerbeck family. Leon Zeberg, Zeldin family, Murray Zemmel, Sabrina Zemmel, Bracha Zerikier, Goldie Zerikier, Pearl Zerikier, Sam Zerikier, Yosef Zingman, Zissel Zingman, Joseph Zola, Chaya Zwas, Ischa Zwas, Joseph Zwas, Miriam Zweibaum, Morris Zweibaum, Avraham, Arthur Avraham, Leo Abramowitz, Sarah Abramowitz, Abraham Adamski, Dvora Adamski, Frigel Adamski, Gisela Adamski, Motel Adamski, Abraham Alster, Fanny Alster, Felix Alster, Joseph Alster, Bruno Altman, Herman Altman, Suzanne Charlotte Altman, Paula and Sam Arbeezer, my aunt and uncle, Julius Aaron, Tony Aaron, Alina Bacall, Leo Bacall, Paul Becher, Caroline Leuenberg Bear, Gertrude Bear, Hedwig Bear, Inga Bear, Julius Bear, Margot Bear, Alexander Balog, Bertha Balog, Joseph Balog, Benno Yitzchak Dov Bamberger, Jonas Moshe Bamberger, Michael Bereshpolsky, Naum Bereshpolsky, Esther Becker, Herschel Becker, Libby Becker, Naftali Becker, Bessie Lovitz Belzer, Justine Bendian, Zev Bendov, Brachel Bianyakowski, Peret Benyakonski, Betty Berilowicz, Dvora Berilowicz, Chaya Berilowicz, Hirsch Berilowicz, Menachem Berilowicz, Shmuel Berilowicz, Isidore Berger, Ethel Bergerbaum, Schneer Bergerbaum, Leon Berkowitz, Moshe Berkowitz, Rachel Berkowitz, Esther Berlin, Pessi Berlin, Yehoshua Berlin, Moses Berliner, Rena Berliner, Lena Bernheimer, Israel Beanstalk, Lushik Beanstalk, and Sarah Beanstalk, my grandparents and my uncle, David Bilwa, Maria Bilwa, Paul Bilwa, Aaron Bach, Edward Bach, Emmanuel Bach, Ernestine Bach, Irena Bach, Irene Bach, Irving Bach, Judah Bach, Julius Bach, Lahos Bach, Yaakov Bach, Zygmunt Bach, Frieda Bodenheimer, Matthias Borsuk, Avram Braverman, Felix Bronner, Bertha Brown, Max Brown, Fega Chai. Adele Chamaides, Bella Chamaides, Benjamin Chamaides, Favish Chamaides, Frida Rock Chamaides, Gertrude Chamaides, Isaac Chamaides, Isaac Chamaides, Judah Schiff Chamaides, Leah Chamaides, Mechel Chamaides, Melech Chamaides, Miriam Luft Chamaides, Mundazio Chamaides, Mundik Chamaides, Rabbi Kalman Chamaides, Rachel Leah Chamaides, Salka Chamaides, Sarah Chamaides, Shindel Chamaides, Shulam Chamaides, Tema Chamaides. Tzipporah Bettersfield Chamaides, Yankala Chamaides, Razel Chamaides and her husband, David Chase, Beryl Chodos, Cherna Chodos, Sorel Chodos, Zalman Chodos, Israel Chomsky, Tolba Cohen and family, Fanny Couquier, Henry Couquier, Jacques Couquier, Meyer Couquier, Cecilia David, Herman David, Leah David, Shaya David, Tsina David, Tzvi Hirsch David, Yehuda David, Erga Dinas. Bojano DiMaggio, Yaakov DiMaggio, Samuelo DiMaggio, Solomon DiMaggio, Tuvi DiMaggio, Aaron Dembowska, Chaya Dembowska, Meir Dembowska, Ruchel Dembowska, Usher Dembowska, Yanko Dembowska, Bundy Dennis, George Dennis, Isidore Dennis, Matilda Dennis, Pishta Dennis, Bernhard Drucker, Devorah Dubois, Dov Bear Dubois, Koppel Dubois, Berka Edelman and family, Anna Ehrenfeld.
If you are taking part in the candlelight ceremony, please go back to the white partition right now. Thank you. Everybody go up. I'll let her go, okay? You want to start? You can start. Go ahead. You start. Jacob Arfenfold, Jeanette Arfenfund, Rachel Aaron Kantz, William Aaron Kantz, Jake Isler, Lily Isler, Hilda N. Rich and family, Leon Fagenbaum, Regina Fagenbaum, Harry Fetterbush, Figueroa family, Joseph Fischler, From Feigel, Ignach Feigel, Jean Feiger, Elizabeth Fodor, Frederick Fodor, Goldie Frankus, Solomon Frankus, Aranka Frankel, Hashi Frankel, Margaret Frankel, Fanny Friedman, Herman Friedman, Olga Friedman, Benjamin Frisk, Eugene Frisk, Irene Frisk, Jacob Frisk, Regina Frisk, Avram Zavil Weidenberg, Bernie Weidenberg, Luma Weidenberg, Frandel Weidenberg, Miriam Furman, Vil Gluck, Azriel Zelig Goldberg, David Goldberg, Herschel Goldberg, Joseph Goldberg, Liebeck Goldberg, Moishe Goldberg, Marion Golden, Zachary Golden. Ruth Goldschmidt, Gina Golcher, Faye Goldstein, Fagel Goldstein, Gershon Schimmel Goldstein, Hannah Jakubowicz Goldstein, Sam Goldstein, Shulin Goldstein, Hannah Goldwasser, Esther Goldwasser, Maria Goldwasser, Rikta Pidra Goldwasser Lamhunt, Esther Golenshiska, Gidali Golenshiska, Miralee Golenshiska, Elka Goodman, Hava Goldfried, Isaac Goldfried, Mary Goldfried, Katinka Goldschuk Sonnenberg, Boris Guy Digger, Herman Gonbaum.
Selma Grunbaum, Helene Grunbaum Hahn, Bob Bumek Grunschlag, Bronia Grunschlag, Gedal Grunschlag, Kappel Grunschlag, Peppa Grunschlag, Lucia Grunschlag Sachs, Ada Grunschlag Gingold, Max Gunter, Mina Gunter Gutman, Caroline Gunter Rosenfeld, Brana Gertman, Chana Gertman, Gisela Gertman, Henry Gertman, Mark Gertman, Nacha Gertman, Rose Gutwell, Israel Halpern, Leah Halpern, Mendel Halpern. Eva Heller, Janinka Heller, Wilda Heller, Lily Hers, Lola Hers, Leah Cyril Hirsch, Yitzchak Meir Hirsch, Caroline Hoekster, Irene Hoppenham, B. Israel, Bertha Israel, Jacob Israel, Kurt Israel, Herschel Jakimowitz, Nachman Jakimowitz, Esterka Jakimowitz, Fred Jacobs, Regina Jacobs, Faye Yaffa, Frumel Yaffa, Moishe Yaffa, Motel Yaffa, Rachel Yaffa, Elimelech Jakubowitz, Rachel Jakubowitz, Avram Jakubowitz, Freemet Jakubowitz, Gershon Jakubowitz, Hannah Jakubowitz, Leah Jakubowitz, Noah Jakubowitz, Zipporah Jakubowitz, Wolf Jakubowitz, Yassel Jakubowitz, Toba Jakubowitz Cordonor, Margot Jeremias, Yitka Kaska, Moshe Mendel Kaska, Lima Rivka Kaska, Yitka Kaska, Rushka Kaska Kozlowski, Avramo Kaganovich, Basia Kaganovich, Pearl Kaganovich, Dora Kaganovich, Vanya Kaganovich, Isser Kaganovich, Luba Kaganovich, Manya Kaganovich, Moshe Kaganovich, Moshe Lieb Kaganovich, Motel Kaganovich, Rose Kaganovich, Sorel Kaganovich, Yassel Kaganovich, Emma Rivka Kampf, Nisen Kampf, Saul Kaplowitz. Is that grandma's brother? Yeah. My great-grandmother's brother. Benjamin Carl, Elias Carl, Mala Carl, Rivka Chamidis Carl, Maritza Karpa, Celia Zimmer Casal, Jacob Casal. Oh. The Katz family, Adele Kaufman, Irma Kaufman, Max Kaufman, Aaron Kazimirek, Avraham Kazimirek, Franya Kazimirek, Hans Kazimirek, Jacob Kazimirek, Rivka Kazimirek, Sarah Kazimirek, Simon Kazimirek, Wolf Kazimirek, Strolek Kent, Esther Jacobson, Keonik Schofer, Helene Tarlowski, Keonik Schofer, Jacob Loeb, Keonik Schofer, Joseph Heinemann, Keonik Schofer, Naftali Wolf, Keonik Schofer, Edith Kinas, Leah Kinas, Gidon Kinas. Harry Kindness, Natan Kindness, Jacob Kindness, Zvi Kindness, Leah Kindness Newman, Esterka Kindness Jachimowitz, Yitzchok Klibanov, Leon Klein, Stella Klein, Gloria Koenig-Schofer, Hannah Koenig-Schofer Altman, Merle Koenig-Schofer Bamberger, Lias Königsberg, Moshe Königsberg, Simon Conover, Anya Kopman, Balcha Kopman, Ginda Pearl Kopman, Hannah Kopman, Hella Kopman, Helen Kopman, Joseph Kopman, Maurice Kopman, Mordechai Kopman, Moshe Kopman, Rivka Kopman, Chana Lustig Koppel, Bella Cordiner, Devorah Cordiner, Beg, what? Okay. It's right there. Okay. Abraham Letterman, my great-grandfather. Esther Letterman, Miriam Letterman, my great-grandmother. Renia Letterman.
Please rise for the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the home of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated.
On behalf of the Emmanuel Synagogue family, I'd like to welcome everyone. My name is David Small, Rabbi of the Emmanuel Synagogue, and we're so grateful to have everyone here tonight gathered for this important purpose. We are honored to host this year's Yom Hashoah commemoration. When I first came to this community many years ago, Fred Jacobs of blessed memory shared with me stories of the efforts of a small group of people who helped to establish this Yizkor in our Jewish community, and I'm also keeping Fred in my heart tonight. I'd like to thank the JCC, the Voices of Hope, and all the members of the Commemoration Committee for their efforts to make tonight's commemoration meaningful, moving, and a fitting honor for our dead. The Jewish mitzvah of Kavod Hamet, of honoring the dead, is one of the most important and highest deeds we can do on behalf of someone else. When we observe Yom Hashoah, we mourn, we cherish, and we honor the lives of all those who perished in the Shoah. While the enemies took so much from them, in our act of spiritual and emotional restorative justice, we do our best to bestow upon our dead their humanity and their dignity. And through our acts of loyalty and loving kindness, we resolve to remember each of them and all of them to the best of our ability, L'dor Vador, from generation to generation. May this sacred task unite us tonight as we gather as one community with resolve, with remembrance, and above all, with love. Amen.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Israel, and I would like to welcome those present here at the Emmanuel and Synagogue and those of you joining us online to this year's Yom Hashoah commemorative service. Sharon Corman is my co-chair of this year's Yom Hashoah Commemoration Committee. We are both board members of Voices of Hope, whose mission it is to promote a culture of courage, to stand up against hatred through the Holocaust and genocide education and remembrance. Understanding how the Holocaust and other genocides occur, I believe, is the key to preventing similar violence in the future, which is why education on this sensitive topic is vitally important to promote peace among the future generations. My parents of blessed memory, Bee and Kurt Israel, were survivors of the Holocaust. My mother lived through the horrors of Kristallnacht, and my father and his parents were sent to Theresienstadt, where his father died and then he and his mother were transported in a cattle car to Auschwitz, where his mother and 13 aunts, uncles, and cousins were murdered. My father was the only surviving member of the Israel family. Genesis recounts 6 days of creation, yet tonight we remember destruction, the destruction of 6 million Jews during the Holocaust, the Shoah. We have gathered together like millions of others around the world to honor and remember the 6 million Jews and the survivors of a time in history where it seemed as though the world forgot us. Tonight, we are honored to have the members of the Fishman family taking part in our conversation between generations with survivor Ruth Tootie Fishman. This year is unique because our moderator is an author of the book about her mother's Holocaust survival, Tootie's Promise, a speaker and Holocaust educator, Heidi Fishman. Heidi, who is joined by her brother Peter Fishman, are both descendants of survivors, and Peter's son Garrett Fishman is a third-generation descendant. Once again, welcome to this evening's Yom HaShoah commemoration.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Corman. I'm the daughter of 2 survivors from Poland, Irene and Eugene Frisch, and I've served on the Hartford Holocaust Commemoration Committee for 32 years, since I first moved to Connecticut. In my early years on this committee, I and a few other 2Gs were fairly passive, letting the survivors run the show. It was only right. They were there, and they were mourning the loss of parents, siblings, spouses, cousins, aunts and uncles, friends, all murdered by the Nazis and their willing collaborators in the Shoah. In recent years, I've come to recognize and reckon with my own loss, the fact that I have very little extended family and I'm disconnected from my parents' pre-war lives. There are many ghosts in my life, but it's hard to think about them because I never met them. My mother used to say, when she heard about people having family reunions and big family gatherings, that she had a big family, and she resented it, even at the end. She was very jealous and very angry. Last May, my mom, Irene Frisch, stood up in this synagogue right there to celebrate her 90th birthday in a beautiful impromptu speech. Rabbi Small gave her the microphone, and I was very nervous, but she declared, "Today is my birthday. I'm not supposed to be alive, but I am, and Hitler isn't, so I win." Just a few months later, my mom's health took a serious downturn before she passed in November. But her words still ring true for me and for many people in this room. The Jews of Eastern Europe were all marked for murder. They, their children, and the future generations, they were not supposed to be here. But we are here, and Hitler isn't, so we win. Today marks my first Holocaust commemoration without my parents to commemorate. It's just me. And now I'm responsible for remembering and honoring not only my parents, but also all of the ghosts, all the family and friends of my parents that I never met. I imagine my trajectory is pretty common among the 2Gs. Eventually, our parents' deaths force us to take up the mantle of memory preservation, even for memories we don't personally have. And ultimately, the obligation to remember, lizchor, will fall on all Jews, whether connected to the Shoah through immediate or extended family, through friendship with a survivor, through academic study, or simply by having heard a survivor or a 2G speak. Today, we all join in commemorating, that is, remembering and showing respect to, the Jews who experienced the Holocaust, including millions we never had the chance to meet. Whatever brings you to this place at this time to join in remembering, I thank you. And I also wish to thank the Mandel JCC and especially David Jacobs, Voices of Hope of Connecticut, the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford, and the Jewish Community Foundation. This annual commemoration could not happen without their continued involvement and support. Thank you.
Anim, amin. B'emon Hashem, b'viat HaMashiach, b'viat HaMashiach, אני מאמין, ואף על פי שיתממח, עם כל זה אני מאמין. מאמין, מאמין, עם כל זה אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, באמון השם, בביאת המשיח, מאמין, אף על פי שיתממח, עם כל זה אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, אני מאמין, עם כל זה אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא. מאמין, מאמין, עם כל זה אני מאמין.
It is most appropriate on this Yom Hashoah commemoration to say a few words of support in the Ukrainian people in their hour of suffering. For me, this is not only a matter of justice, it is personal. I am able to stand before you today only because 80 years ago, during the German occupation, Archbishop Andrei Sheptytsky of the Ukrainian Catholic Church and the Studite brothers, in contrast to most of the world, had the moral courage to answer the biblical question, Hashomer Achi Anochi, am I my brother's keeper? In the affirmative, and thus saved my life. The Studite brothers hid me for 2 years at risk to their and their families' lives. Archbishop Sheptytsky also wrote letters of protest about the treatment of Jews to Hitler, Himmler, and the Pope. And in November of 1943, he published an encyclical to his flock entitled, You Shall Not Murder. It is said that the Ukrainian Catholic Church hid about 150 Jews, and yet despite the fact that that took the cooperation of many priests, there was not a single case of betrayal. Ukraine has an extraordinary, complicated history of over 1,000 years of coexistence and cultural symbiosis of Jews and Christians. It was the land of rich cultural development and was the home of both the grandfather, Mendele Mocher Sforim, and the father, Sholem Aleichem, of Yiddish literature. The home of our national Hebrew poet, Chaim Nachman Bialik, who wrote some of his most famous poems in Odessa. The birthplace of the only Hebrew author, Shmuel Yosef Agnon, to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature, and was the birthplace and early development of the great Jewish religious revival, Hasidism. We are all, of course, familiar with periods of friction and Ukrainian persecution of Jews. The first pogrom that I experienced at the age of 6 was carried out by our Ukrainian neighbors. But we Jews believe in redemption, taught to us by our greatest biblical redemption story, that of Joseph and his brothers. The brothers had to walk a long road, but so did Joseph, before he was able to utter the words, I am Joseph, your brother. We Jews always remember the past, but we also have our sights set squarely on the future. Since proclaiming independence, Ukraine has promoted diversity and practiced democratic values. It is said to have less anti-Semitism than any country in Europe or the Americas. It has passed a strong law against anti-Semitism, and teaching of the Shoah is mandatory in all its schools. We have all been disturbed by the comparison of the heinous attacks on civilian Ukrainians and the Shoah. The Shoah was a genocide, a word coined by Raphael Lemkin in 1944 for the Nuremberg trials, who defined it as the intentional destruction of an ethnic, national, racial, or religious group. Had the great composer Felix Mendelssohn lived during World War II, he would have been killed. He would have had the fate of all the other Jews, because his grandparents were Jewish, despite the fact that he was born a Christian. That is genocide. The murder of Ukrainian women and children, the wanton destruction of civilian property is a crime, but it is not genocide, because a Ukrainian living in Donetsk or in Russia who supports Putin's war is not in danger, despite the fact that he or she is a Ukrainian. It was because he thought the charge of genocide too restrictive that Herschel Lauterpracht convinced Chief American Prosecutor Robert H. Jackson to add a charge of crimes against humanity, which were defined as acts purposely committed as part of a widespread or systematic policy directed against civilians during the Nuremberg trials. Interestingly enough, Raphael Lemkin, who coined the word genocide, and Herschel Lautenpracht, who coined the word crimes against humanity, were both Galician Jewish lawyers who were educated at the Faculty of Law in the university in Lviv, although they were not contemporaries. Our long and painful Jewish history has taught us about affliction and about being abandoned, which we commemorate today, as well as about the precious gift of freedom. Therefore, when others are afflicted and yearn for freedom, we must not remain silent. We must raise our voices and join theirs. Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine. Thank you.
Ruth Fishman, Westerbrook Transit Camp, and Tara Stud.
Robert Lesser survived in the Polish forests, Dvorets labor camp, and became a partisan fighter. Nina Jacobs, hidden as a child by a Polish family. Leon Kamaides, a hidden child in a Ukrainian monastery. Nina Gulbas survived in a Polish forest. Jerry Golbus escaped to the Ural Mountains.
Good evening. My name is Alyssa Temkin, and I'm a third-generation Holocaust survivor. My Poppy unfortunately passed away 3 years ago. He was the kindest person I ever met. He was so special and meant the world to me and my sister Lily. Even through all the terrible hardships and challenges he was faced with, he continued to fight and never gave up. He never had the why me attitude. He is one of the many people who have inspired and helped me become the person I am today. He taught me that you should never be afraid to speak up for what you believe in, and that you should keep your chin up high and never give up. I love him so much and miss him dearly every day, but he will always have a special place in my heart. I am a member of the Kingswood Oxford Voce Women's Ensemble and Oxfordians a cappella group, and tonight we are honored to be here to sing The Last Butterfly, which is based on the Butterfly poem by Pavel Friedman. The poem was written while he was at the Theresienstadt concentration camp in 1942, prior to him being deported to Auschwitz in September 1944, where he sadly passed away. We sing this song today as the Mandel JCC, in partnership with Voices of Hope, is participating in the Butterfly Project. Thanks to grants from Beth and Benjamin Goldberg, Jack Hutner, and Louis Josoloff, funds at the Jewish Community Foundation. One butterfly will be painted for every child lost in the Holocaust. In addition to painting butterflies, participants will learn about the children we are all memorializing. These butterflies will be permanently displayed at the Mandel JCC as symbols of resilience and hope. Each painted butterfly will also be included in the Butterfly Project's global count, with the goal of creating 1.5 million butterflies around the world, one for each child who perished during the Holocaust. This project uses the power of art to teach about the dangers of hatred, bigotry, and injustice wherever they appear, with the goal of cultivating empathy and social responsibility. I'd like to thank Mr. Mitchell for being such an amazing choir director and for teaching us this meaningful song. I'd also like to thank Mr. Baker for helping us with this song and accompanying us with guitar. Thank you so much for inviting us to sing for you, and I hope you enjoy the song.
The very last, so richly, brightly, dazzling yellow. Perhaps if the sun's tears would sing against a white star.
We invite Rabbi Lazowski to deliver the El Malei Rachamim.
Will everybody please rise? מול הרחמים ושוכם המרמים אמצענו נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלוס קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הקיע מזהירים נשמות כל אחינו בני ישראל שנטבחו בשואה נשים וטף שנחנקו ושנשרפו ושנהרגו שמסרו את נפשם על קידוש השם בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם אנא בעל הרחמים מסתרם בשסע כנפיך לעולמים וצרו בצוהר חיים את נשמותיהם אדוני הוא נחלתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבם.